Israel has launched a direct attack on Iran, a nation known for targeting Israel through proxies like Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis. This conflict, dubbed Operation Rising Lion,
The State of Israel launched Operation Rising Lion in Iran in order to remove an existential threat against the State of Israel.
is unlike the Russia-Ukraine war or Israel's fight against Hamas. It's far more serious and could mark the beginning of World War III. Surprisingly, Pakistan stands to gain the most from this war. Let's analyze why and explore the global impact, especially on your wallet. And if you enjoy sharp geopolitical insights like this, hit that subscribe button because this is India at the center stage. This is In Center Stage. When Israeli PM launched Operation Rising Lion, he warned his people to prepare for a long war, signaling no de-escalation. Both nations are hearing more siren than speeches. War has begun. On June 13, 2025, Israel directly attacked Iran's nuclear infrastructure, oil and gas reserves, and targeted nuclear scientists and military leaders via Mossad. This was unprecedented in 30 years. Why? Israel's intelligence agency, Mossad, learned Iran's secret nuclear program was nearing completion, potentially giving Iran nuclear weapons. But Mossad's success isn't just about satellite images or drone feeds. It's the seamless fusion of technical intelligence and human intelligence. One covert example involved pagers embedded with micro-explosives distributed via proxy vendors, triggered remotely when the target unknowingly clipped it on. This is how espionage and engineering are converging. Iran retaliated with Operation Savior Punishment, launching ballistic and hypersonic missiles on Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Iran's Iron Dome failed to intercept all missiles, and both nations are now striking each other's capitals with hundreds already dead. On June 14-15, 2025, the conflict escalated. Israeli drones struck Iran's South Pars gas field, the world's largest, halting production and setting refineries ablaze. Iran's petroleum ministry confirmed that the critical fuel storage in Sharon was destroyed. Iran retaliated by attacking Israel's Haifa refinery, vowing oil for oil. Israel warned its citizens on June 16 and 17 to prepare for Iranian rocket attacks. Iran then did something unexpected. It jammed GPS systems of ships near the Strait of Hormuz, disrupting navigation. This strait is critical. 20% of global oil, 18 to 19 million barrels per day, and over 3,000 commercial ships monthly pass through, carrying oil and natural gas from Gulf nations. By threatening to block this choke point, Iran aims to cripple the global economy, not just Israel's. Even Donald Trump cut short a G7 summit to return to Washington, warning of Tehran's evacuation.
US President Trump has cut his trip short is due to the situation in the Middle East. The announcement comes just hours after Trump issued a warning to Iran on his Truth Social platform, urging people to immediately evacuate the Iranian capital, Tehran.
Is the US about to join this war directly? Well, I think so. A war becomes a world war when global powers get involved. Right now, the US is the sole superpower, with China as a rising power. The US claims it wasn't part of the Israel's attack, but admits it was informed beforehand. Trump said, both sides should make a deal, but sometimes they have to fight it out first. This isn't a trivial dispute. It's between two nuclear-capable nations. The US is backing Israel, deploying 2 aircraft carriers, USS Harry Truman and USS Carl Vinson, to the Gulf. KC-135 and KC-46 planes are ready for mid-air refueling, and US Navy destroyers in the Mediterranean are reinforcing Israel's missile defense. Meanwhile, Yemen's Houthi rebels, backed by Iran, shot down a US F-18 jet, showing even a small proxy group can challenge America. Trump, desperate for a win after failing to resolve the Russia-Ukraine war or outmaneuver China in trade, sees the Middle East as a familiar target. China, however, has chosen Iran's side. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi called Israel's attack unacceptable and a violation of international law. China wants to mediate to boost its global influence but also to protect its interests. As the world's largest oil importer, China relies on Iran, its biggest trading partner, for energy security. In 2022, China pledged $400 billion in Iranian investments and signed a 25-year strategic partnership. China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea form the axis of upheaval, but they are not ready for all-out war and are seeking more allies. China previously brokered a Saudi-Iran deal and may try the same with Israel. If the US joins the war directly, China will have to follow to protect its oil supply. When we hear war over water, we think of drinking water or rivers, but 80% of global trade happens via sea routes. The Strait of Hormuz is a critical choke point Iran threatens to block, disrupting oil deliveries to Asia, including China, Japan, and India. If oil prices rise by $10 per barrel, India's import bill could increase by $5 billion, hurting growth. But the battlefield isn't limited to oil lanes or missile silos. Future conflicts may be fought through monsoons and misinformation. China's atmospheric manipulation project, like the Sky River Initiative, aims to divert rainfall from moisture-rich regions to its drier zones. Imagine weaponizing clouds. Add to that cyber armies flooding digital spaces with targeted narratives, and you realize wars will be fought in minds as much as on maps. Also, Russia benefits here. It can supply oil globally and pressure the world to lift sanctions, dealing a blow to Trump, who failed to end the Russia-Ukraine war. The US Fifth Fleet in Bahrain is positioned to prevent this blockade, ensuring America's direct involvement. And this is how a world war begins. The stage is set for World War III. Alliances are formed, which are axes of upheaval versus Western powers. Aggressive leaders are in place, and nuclear powers are entangled. The US has long eyed Pakistan's strategic location, using it as the base to monitor Iran and potentially attack. Pakistan, the only Muslim nation with nuclear weapons, is a key player. An Iranian general confirmed Pakistan could supply nuclear weapons if Iran's program fails. Pakistan's Shaheen-3 missiles can strike anywhere in Israel with nuclear warheads, which is bad news for Israel. The IMF's recent loan to Pakistan may be a Western attempt to ensure it doesn't share nukes with Iran or use them against Western allies. However, Pakistan is playing a game, rallying Muslim nations via the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to unite against Israel, framing the conflict as Islam versus Israel. This gives Pakistan leverage, making it a dangerous player. And see, for Pakistan, morality is negotiable. What matters is the color of the currency. From Mossad to the CIA to international drug cartels, the ISI has long operated as an intelligence mercenary available to the highest bidder. Its shadow wars aren't fueled by government funds alone. They're bankrolled by narcotics, illicit trade, and underground cash flows that never make it to the official ledgers. And that's why Israel's Mossad might quietly operate through Pakistan's territory or even its agents, while Pakistani streets thunder with slogans like "Death to Israel." Now for India, both Iran and Israel are important partners. We buy drones from Israel and have projects like Chahabar Port in Iran backed by a 10-year contract signed in 2024. Pakistan's strategic location gives it an edge over India's moral stance as a democracy fighting terrorism. When leverage, that is Pakistan's location, clashes with virtues, that is India's principle, leverage often wins. The world may overlook Pakistan's terror link to prevent it from arming Iran with nukes. India cannot remain non-aligned for long. It must act strategically as it did during the Russia-Ukraine war to protect its interests. Wars today aren't just fought with missiles. They're waged through cyber grids, climate control, and the drug money corridors. The battlefield now lives in the cloud, both digital and monsoon. And while others script the future, India risks playing catch-up. It's time to rethink the system before the next war exposes our blind spots. So here's the real question. Should India stay neutral, pick a side, or write its own playbook for hybrid war? Drop your thoughts in the comments because in this era, silence isn't peace, it's just a pause.